Welcome to my YouTube channel. Please subscribe my YouTube channel. Hosted by retired boxer Tony Bellew, it tells how everything from kettles to billiard balls to darts were used as missiles to terrify rival fans, and the police being part of these gangs is compared to being a religion or finding a new family. But among the unrepentant thugs, glorying in what was known as the English disease during the 1980s, are reminders of the innocent lives lost to this ugly pastime. There are the 15-year-old Leeds United fan Ian Hambridge, who was killed during a mass riot at Birmingham City's ground, and the 39 supporters who lost their lives at the Heysel Stadium in 1985 alone. Or 21-year-old Gerald Comerford, who died when a brick was thrown at him on the way home from a game in 1977. We also hear how the Good Samaritan, trying to save the life of a police officer, when Millwall ripped up Luton Town's Kenilworth Road ground, was punched by a pitch invader, and how undercover cops were threatened with pool cues when they infiltrated a notorious football firm. There is certainly nothing beautiful about the game described by the people Everton fan Tony spoke to for the BBC's Gangster Presence series Hooligans. Not that many of the punch-up loving supporters show much remorse for their past. West Ham fan Bill Gardner, 70, gloats, "I think I've had over 400 fights in my life. Remarkably, Bill doesn't consider himself to be a hooligan. And I never got beaten. I've never had the fear that normal human beings have. I was never frightened when I was with my mates at West Ham. They all knew they could rely on me, and I would never leave them alone. If one of them went down, I would pick him up, and I would still do it today." Remarkably, Bill doesn't consider himself to be a hooligan. He argues, "A hooligan is somebody who smashes things up and breaks things. I've never done that. If somebody wanted to fight me, I'd fight them." Tony's 6-part podcast, which is streaming now, charts the rise of violence on the terraces and attempts to eradicate it from the country's favorite sport. It looks at the upbringing of the men and women drawn to the tribalism of a club's most thuggish ticket holders. Tony says, "What people misunderstand about hooliganism is that it was born out of frustration. What I've learned through doing this podcast is that these people were doctors, they were solicitors, they came from all different walks of life, and they go to these matches and have fights with other fans to escape their day-to-day lives. Londoner Bill says his mum used to hit me with lumps of wood, lumps of rubber, plastic, and West Ham made me feel at home." Chelsea fan Mark Alway, who later found God, also felt drawn to the danger as a teenager. He says, "If they had said at 14, 15, Mark, what do you want to be? I would have said I want to join a football gang and I want to be a football hooligan. It was my life." While Cockney Al, the nickname